Well, just before Christmas, Wisconsin's Supreme Court overturned the state's legislative maps, ruling them unconstitutional.
News 8 Now's Allison Fergit breaks down how we got here and what the future holds for the state legislature. Allison?
Ken and Emily, the state Supreme Court threw out the maps because the districts weren't contiguous. But the context behind the decision is more complex, and so is the future of the state's legislative maps.
With the election of Justice Janet Protasewicz to the state Supreme Court in April, a new era of Wisconsin politics was ushered in.
It was clear to basically everyone that the Wisconsin State Supreme Court was going to take another look at the district maps, and indeed they did.
Protasewicz's election flipped the court's makeup from conservative to liberal for the first time in 15 years. The day after she was sworn in, a lawsuit was filed arguing the maps were unconstitutional.
We can trace the series of events that got us to now. We can trace that back to 2010.
For over a decade, Democrats have argued the legislative maps unfairly favor the Republican Party. In 2011, Republicans had total control of Wisconsin government, leading both the legislature and the governorship.
So Republicans have full control over the redistricting process, and unsurprisingly, they use their control over the redistricting process to try to achieve more seats.
It's a process known as gerrymandering, the idea of drawing boundaries in a way to favor one political party.
You cram the opposing party supporters into a small number of districts, and then you spread your own party's supporters across a wide range of districts, enough to give you a solid majority.
Was partisanship considered as a consideration in the map? Yes, there were certain times that partisanship was.
But after over a decade, state Democrats got the news they'd been waiting for. New maps had to be drawn. The reason the court decided to throw out the maps does not hinge on the districts being unfair to one political party over another.
They do so on the grounds that the districts were not all contiguous, meaning that there were some disconnected parts of districts.
The Wisconsin Constitution requires legislative districts to, quote, consist of contiguous territory.
It's very possible that we'll see assembly districts in our area get shifted around.
In La Crosse, Jill Billings' assembly district is highly Democratic, but her district could be redrawn in a way that leads to her actually losing some of her Democratic voters. She says she's not worried about a competition. To her, it's more important that every Wisconsinite's voice is heard.
People should be able to choose their legislators. The legislators should not be choosing the people they want to represent. That's what fair maps are all about. So I think when we have that, we have a healthier democracy.
Representative Steve Doyle and State Senator Brad Pfaff have some of the most balanced districts in Wisconsin. They believe other districts being more like theirs would be a positive for the state.
It keeps me focused on the people and not on party politics. And that's what I think we need to get back to in Wisconsin.
Having a much closer balance, that will force people to really represent the state. And if we transition from parties dictating to the people dictating, that's only a good thing.
They also hope new maps means more bipartisan work in the legislature.
We could see both political parties recognize the fact that they need to work more towards consensus.
Something state Republicans are also open to.
I think it creates a little bit better dialogue with the other side. That will be a good thing for the state of Wisconsin and residents of Wisconsin.
Democrats' fight for fair maps isn't over yet. Assembly Speaker Robin Vos has suggested the state Supreme Court ruling could be appealed, saying the U.S. Supreme Court could have final say over Wisconsin's maps. Ken and Emily?
That'll be a very interesting next couple of months. Thank you, Allison.
Yeah.
Now, the parties involved in the lawsuit have to produce new maps by this Friday. That could give us a better idea of what the future districts could look like.
State elections officials have said the maps must be in place by March 15th if they are to be used for the 2024 election.